16th win for Del Toro of the season, number 95 for UAE. 95 wins this year. It seems like yesterday when we were talking about will they beat 85, which was the record of HTC High Road, I think, or HTC Columbia many years ago. They're 95 now. I mean, they're probably not going to get to 100, but what a season for UAE, right? But listen, Del Toro, man, I mean, he's unstoppable.
Everybody, welcome back to the Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We are back on our weekly grind. We will go through a few recent races and news items from the week. And at the end, we'll take questions from listeners and people. The members are joining us live through our private YouTube stream. If you're a member and you're on the YouTube stream, just throw your question in the chat and we will get to those first. And then we'll get to a few that are emailed in to info@wedo.team. But if you want to make sure your question's answered, make sure you sign up for a WeDo membership, link in the show notes. Before we get into
Spencer, tell everybody that they have to submit it through the YouTube app.
Yes. If you are here currently and you're a member and you're like, whoa, where's this chat? What's going on? You got to click through to the app to see the chat. It won't show up in your phone's browser or in the members portal, but just one click, you'll be there. So let's take a quick break for our partner for today's show, Johan, and we'll be right back. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Fabric by Gerber Life. As someone who spends a lot of time out on my bike on the open road and has a family that depends on me, I worry a lot about what would happen if something happened to me, which is why the idea of life insurance is incredibly appealing. And the truth is, even if you don't take part in risky activities, you likely need a plan for protecting your family if something unexpected ever happens to you. That's where Fabric by Gerber Life comes in. Fabric offers term life insurance you can get done today, made for busy parents like yourself, all online, all on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. And here's the thing, if you're young and healthy, now is the time to lock in those low rates. Even if you already have some coverage through your employer, that policy might not be enough and it might not follow you if you switch jobs. Fabric makes it simple and affordable with flexible, high-quality policies that can fit your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. So join thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/themove. That's meetfabric.com/themove, MEET fabric.com/themove. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Price is subject to underwriting and health questions. Okay, Johan, I know you've been glued to the TV watching these recent races. We've got a World Tour race going on right now, Tour of Guangxi. Why is this World Tour? I have no idea. But to sum it up quickly, it's been 4 stages and 1 winner. Paul Meunier has won every stage. What's going on there? And then we also have Isaac Del Toro winning earlier this week, a beautiful race, Giro del Veneto, 16th win of the season. I think this guy looks better every race I see him in. And we also had the Tour of Holland, which I didn't know was a race that just kind of popped up on the schedule. Yeah. And then did you see there was this Tour of Europa, or just I didn't even know this was a race. It just seemed to show up on the schedule. Why did we get? It was like this Europa. What? It was the day after Lombardia.
Yeah, Adam Yates won. Yeah,
and the UAE sent like a full team there. Adam Yates won, Jay Vine third. Christian Scaroni fourth was complaining that he asked Jay Vine for third and Jay Vine didn't give it to him. What is going on with the youth of the world today? Come on, you got to earn your podium spots. But let's start with Giro del Veneto. I thought that was the most interesting race of the recent past. What did you think about Isaac Del Toro's win?
Yeah, I mean, 16th win for Del Toro of the season, number 95 for UAE. 95 wins this year. It seems like yesterday when we were talking about will they beat 85, which was the record of HTC High Road, I think, or HTC Columbia many years ago. They're 95 now. I mean, they're probably not going to get to 100, but what a season for UAE, right? But listen, Del Toro, man, I mean, he's unstoppable. These races, he's so explosive. When he attacked, beautifully set up by the team and especially Who was it? Was it Sivakov who set him up? Yeah, who finished second, by the way, in that race also.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Del Toro, he's, I mean, when he goes and Pogacar's not there, it's difficult for anybody to follow. Who was it? Was Romain Grégoire who was trying to follow him? He was, glued to his wheel and just got dropped. Man, that guy, I mean, 16 wins for a rider like that. Imagine if he still improves and gets a bit stronger, what we're going to see next year, maybe in 2 years. So, we're probably going to start to see then an Isaac Del Toro who gets really ambitious, and maybe we'll have to look for another team if Pogačar is there. Although I think if he's smart, he just stays with Pogačar and then just waits until Pogačar retires, and then he's the man,
Well, okay, my neighbor actually asked me about this randomly on the street. Him going to another team does not make Tadej Pogačar disappear. No. Like, he still exists. So his chances of winning the Tour de France are no greater than if Pogačar is on his team or not.
No. I mean, the big races that if Del Toro races some of the big races together with Pogačar gonna win either way, whether he's on UAE or not. If a rider like Del Toro, if you're on the same team as the best rider of the world, which is Pogačar, your chances actually increase to win some races.
Yeah, they do.
Because, there will be races where Pogačar is so supervised. I mean, it doesn't matter right now if he's supervised or not. He just rides away from everybody. But, not every year is the same. So, yeah, man, what a talent, Del Toro. We could see it coming, right? The way he won Tour de l'Avenir a few years ago, and then straight away in his first race, actually, I think didn't he win a race in his first race?
It was the Tour Down Under. Yeah, World Tour race. Yeah. First race as a pro. I'm just gonna win it.
Yeah. No, he didn't win the race. He won a stage.
Won a stage, yeah.
Yeah, he won a stage.
Yeah, didn't win the whole thing. Third overall, though, finished on the podium.
Yeah. No, incredible talent. And what a series he had also in Italy, right? I think he won 6 races in Italy in the last few months. 6 or 7. I don't know.
In September and October, he won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 races in Italy.
Yeah.
In the last month, basically.
And Spencer, those races are not easy to win. Those semi-classics, man, they are hard. I mean, it's extremely difficult to win those races. And it's like, they're fit as a glove to Del Toro,
Yeah, he's a better one-day racer than Pogačar was at the same age. And you say these are hard races, hard to win. Did you notice who got third at Giro del Veneto?
Was it Albert Philipsen?
Probably the biggest guy in the race, Jonas Abrahamsson.
Oh, Abrahamsson.
Third. And that was a hard course.
Yeah.
But you could tell he was specifically targeting the podium. They weren't even trying to chase Del Toro once he was away because they just want the points.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, Abrahamsson he's an atypical rider. I think he's so strong. He, for his weight, he climbs extremely well, and he's super fast. He's strong. He's a strong sprinter. He's like, he just starts going and does not slow down. Yeah. It's not like a guy who has an acceleration, but it's incredible how strong he is.
And and that third place, he gets 125 UCI points. That puts his Uno X team just a little over 400 points ahead of Cofidis in the relegation promotion 3-year cumulative ranking. How is that not straightforward to people? It's clear as mud. And it looks like Uno X will be promoted into the World Tour next year.
I think
Super impressive.
Yeah. No, I think so. I mean, they're finishing 19th in the rankings, but because of the situation that Arkea is disappearing, but they are not top 19 anyway. Arkea, I think, and then it's Intermarché and Lotto who are merging, so that's one team less. So the 19th ranked.
Are they merging?
They are merging, yeah.
Yeah,
they are merging. I mean, they filed an official request now with the UCI Intermarché is done. That team is done. All the riders have been told that either they make the merge, they make the move to the new team, or they have to look for another team. It's a bit messy. Mergers. There's too many contracts. So the way it works is if Intermarché, there's what they call a paying agent, which is a company which is responsible for the money and the contracts and receiving the sponsorship money and paying your providers and your riders. So if there are riders with a contract with that company, I mean, you don't have a contract with a team. You have a contract with a company which manages the team. That's the way it works. They call it the paying agent, the financial responsible entity. So if there are riders with a contract and they do not find a team, then this company is responsible for paying out that contract. So it's not straightforward. There's a lot of negotiations to be done still.
And Intermarché is a weird team because I don't want to use the word Ponzi scheme, but the foundation is built on sand, let's say, because they just lose money every year. Like last year, the team's been racking up big losses. The 2022 accounts pledged to fix this, but they lost 2 million euros in 2023, and then they had to get 500,000 euros injected by an unnamed shareholder in a 2 million euro loan from one of the team's sponsors just to keep them on the road. I don't know why you would merge with this team, because you're just going to inherit those liabilities, right?
Well, probably not. I mean, I think that's separate. I think that they're actually not merging. I think as far as I know, I don't know exactly in which capacity the sponsor Intermarché joins Lotto. I've heard somewhere. Where did I hear that? I think it was going to be Bricomarché. At least that's a rumor. That's like a subdivision of Intermarché. It's like a bricolage. Bricolage. Is that a name? Bricolage? Is that a word?
Bricolage?
Bricolage.
It's in French,
like
maybe.
Do it yourself, the do it yourself shop. So anyway, Bricomarché is reportedly going to be in the name. The bike sponsor remains Orbea. And basically they're just changing the guy who was running Intermarché. Was a Belgian rider, a Belgian guy from Wallonia. What's his name? Jean-Claude, I don't know, Boulard or Bouchard. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think it's great. These two teams getting together. What's for sure is that Lotto, the company Lotto, remains at the helm of the team, and they're the ones making decisions. So the guy who comes in from Intermarché just becomes the CEO, but he has people from the National Lottery above him.
Yeah, I wonder what's happening to that loan from either Wanty or Intermarché, and then they still have unpaid wages. I
and
agree.
Bonuses,
I don't know.
and bonuses also, yeah.
Yeah, a certain green jersey bonus probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the bank guarantee, at the UCI, which ultimately will probably be used for that. But I don't know if that's enough.
Especially if they have unpaid loans of that amount. I don't really get this merger. I guess we'll find out more as things unfold. On more racing, and this has been thrilling. Tour of Guangxi. It's just wonderful. This is a World Tour race. Just 4 straight sprint stages, all won by Paul Monnier. Pavel Bittner getting second multiple times. Paul Monnier, we should say, super impressive. What is this, his 17th win of the season? He's 21 years old. Like, that's really impressive. Why is this a World Tour race, Johan? Like, what's going on here?
Every day, Spencer, I can't wait. When I wake up and I go for a bike ride, I come back and I can't wait. I'm so excited to turn on the footage of this exciting World Tour race in China, in Guangxi, it's ridiculous, in my opinion. You can have a race in China, that's fine. But, to make it a World Tour race, it's been a World Tour race for a while now.
For a while, yeah.
The reason is very simple, Spencer. This is a race that historically, I think, when Hein Verbruggen was still president, he started with a race in China. It was not in Guangxi; it was somewhere else. But it's basically a race owned by the UCI. Organized by I don't know who, maybe ASO. Probably ASO. I don't remember. But anyway, the owner or the rights owner of the race is the UCI. And I do know that many years ago, for that race in China, the UCI got paid 7 million euros just for that race. So you can guess what the reason is why it's a World Tour race.
And that's a lot of money for the UCI.
It's a lot of money.
That's significant.
It's a lot of money, and it's the race. Listen, and then to think, Spencer. I mean, I was thinking this, yesterday or the day before. This was supposed to be the race where the UCI was going to test this new rule on limited gears. And you look at the footage; they're racing on highways. There's no bends. It's all straightforward, huge roads. That test would have had zero results. We wouldn't have learned anything from it. So anyway, now we talked about it last week, that finally SRAM won their case, and the UCI is not allowed to implement the gearing limit for the moment. But yeah, it's... Listen, great for Paul Magnier, 21 years old. By the way, I got some information on him. Peak power, 1900 watts.
Holy smokes. No wonder he's winning all these races.
1900 watts. And apparently, I have been told, I haven't found anything, but it seems that Paul Magnier, before he turned a road racer, he was a mountain biker and was really good at climbing.
He's not that big, he's only 70 kilos. So for someone putting out 1900 watts, that's pretty small.
Did you see today's sprint? I mean, he was. I would love to see the speed, because I think it was slightly downhill. He did not get out of the saddle. He won that sprint seated. Did not get once out of the saddle. Listen. The competition is not super, but there's Jordi Meeus, who beat all the fastest sprinters on the Champs-Élysées in the Tour de France already. There's a few.
Pavel Bittner is a Grand Tour stage winner.
Bittner, did he win in the Vuelta or in the Giro?
In the Vuelta,
no? Yeah. So listen, great. I mean, he also won 3 stages in the Tour of Poland, by the way, didn't he?
Paul Magnier.
Yeah.
Or Pavel. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he must have. To have that many wins, you're just winning. Wait, no. Yeah. Right. Yeah, he did Tour Poland. He just won one stage.
One
second.
Stage. Okay.
I think you're thinking of the Tour of, and how could you forget this? The Tour of Slovakia.
Yeah. Tour of Slovakia. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No. He won 3 stages in the Tour of Great Britain.
This is why I'm looking at it. So Tour of Poland, he wins the stage. Renui Tour doesn't win because that's very difficult. Tour of Slovakia, it's like he's on a tour of former Eastern Bloc countries like Slovakia, Croatia. Crow Race, they need a new name. Crow Race, I listened back to our episodes. It sounds like I'm talking about a race named after the bird crow. You say Crow Race, like they maybe need to rebrand that. They didn't think that through. But he has 18 wins on the season. That's second behind Tadej.
17.
It says 18 on the ranking list. Okay. And he's 2 behind Tadej Pogačar. Clearly the quality is different between those two. Remember he did the Giro d'Italia. I think we were hyping him up and he looked a little like they call it big league syndrome in baseball, where you're overwhelmed by the size of the stadium and you're not hitting as well as you did in the minors. What does his next year look like? Like he'll be 22. Does he step up and kind of do a more difficult World Tour based schedule, you think, or do they keep him in these smaller races?
I think it's going to be a mix. I don't know. Something must have happened to him early in the season, because I do remember he won a stage early on and then he kind of didn't win anymore until May or June, I think. June, I think. Yeah, he didn't win anything. He won. Let's see. I think he won the first. Yeah, he won the first race of the season in Étoile de Bessèges, and then didn't win anything until
June 7th.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he just kept winning. Yeah, really impressive.
Well, I guess he was probably preparing for the Giro and then was trashed from the Giro.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be a big. Well, he also got this is crazy. He got second at Figueira Champions Classic. We all love that. Second at Omloop. I had frankly forgotten about that. Second at Siam. It used to be La Siam. Now it's Ename Siam. Samain. It was second behind Van der Poel. Mm-hmm. So really good results there.
Yeah, no. I've been told he's more than a sprinter. Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah.
Jasper Philipsen.
Well, some people, it's not even comparable, but some people say that he potentially could be the next Tom Bonen.
Has he ever raced a cobbled classic though?
Yeah, I don't know.
I love that. He's the next Tom Bonen. He's never actually started a cobbled classic, but he was
62nd in the Tour of Flanders.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. But think about Philipsen. Like he's actually, he didn't, I don't think he was doing a lot of those races at a younger age. And now he's getting 2 second places at Roubaix. Mm-hmm. So it's possible. It's not impossible. And he's very good.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Bonen was pretty impressive. Three times Flanders, 4 times Roubaix?
I think it might be.
Yeah. 4 times Roubaix, that I'm sure. I'm sure about that. I don't know how many times Flanders, but I would say 3.
You're right. 3 times Flanders, 4 times Roubaix.
World champion.
You were there when this happened. Like, he was George's teammate.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be his domestique, and he was very young, and he almost was better than George's first year on the team, right?
Yeah, he was new professional. First year pro, he was 3rd in Roubaix.
That's crazy, especially back then. That wasn't as common.
Yeah.
And you think Paul Monnier is kind of going to be the future of, like, with Remco gone, they got to be putting everything on.
Well, let's not forget they have another guy who wins a lot of races also, Tim Merlier. Is he winning Tour of Guangxi? I don't think so. Come on, Tim, you got to step up. But he won the Tour of the Netherlands. He won the first
Tour
stage.
Of the Netherlands. Yes. Where did this race come from? Is this new? I don't ever remember this happening.
I discovered 2 weeks ago. I was talking to someone who says, "Yeah, I'm going to the Tour of Holland." We always say the Tour of Holland, Tour of the Netherlands. I said, "What?" It did exist back in the days. But now, for some reason, they have revived it. It looks a bit. There's not many riders. It looks dangerous to me. Narrow roads, many parked cars. It's usually
today's stage got canceled because
yeah. So, it is recently a problem in the Netherlands to organize bike races because of the lack of police that they can actually get. But doesn't look like a very safe race to me. Still, there's some really good sprinters there,
Yeah, I do think a lot of hand-wringing about Tadej Pogačar ruining the sport because he wins everything. I would say a good place to start is I follow cycling very closely, and I'm often confused by the races that pop up where they don't seem to be marketed. I don't know what they are. Mm-hmm. Where do they even fit into the tapestry of the season? Why are they all sprint stages? I think this was in the pre-record. You're saying the sprinters are so good they can't be dropped, so you get a lot of sprint stages. But to have a stage race where the first 5 stages are sprints, like, why are we doing this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you would question why someone would watch that.
Well, you're talking about Guangxi,
and even Tour of Holland. Holland, you're a little constricted.
There was a prologue and a time trial yesterday.
Why would you have 2 time trials?
Well, I guess the prologue was more a show off, a showcase.
Yeah.
4 kilometers. But anyways, it was there's 19 kilometers of time trial in this small race, where that's sometimes like we've seen big tours with that amount of time trial kilometers. But anyway,
Ethan Hayter won them both, by the way.
Of Spencer, speaking of, I wanted to pause on this for a second. Tour of Holland. This guy, Jan Willem van Schip. Most of the people won't know this guy. He got disqualified. We can pull up the pictures here for his extreme aerodynamic position. If you look at this position and you look at the bike, and I know this is, by the way, this is the third time in the last few years he's getting disqualified from a race, because this is a guy who looks, tried to get on the limit of within the rules, and then the rules are sometimes not clear, so they let him race because he's on a small team, he doesn't do big races. But I know a lot of riders who first of all, I have to say I'm happy he gets disqualified with this position, because this is ridiculous.
This bike is crazy. I don't know if we're going to show it in here or for it to post, but it is nuts. Like absolutely nuts. What's the stem? The stem must be over 200 millimeters long.
I don't know what it is. It's all it's all aftermarket, modified. It's, first of all, I think the equipment, the way it's not safe. This can break at any moment.
Yeah.
The stem, the handlebars, the seat post. He got disqualified for the seat post, not for the handlebar. So but I know riders who have been riding with him or next to him or behind him in the peloton, and they say it is freaking scary. And it's basically a normal road race handlebars, but it's modified to an extent that it's so narrow on top that he's in a time trial position. Like he's in a position like on a time trial bike, but an extreme time trial position. So
yes.
I think, there's been people who said, poor guy, they disqualify him, the UCI and this and that. You could argue, you could say, okay, why does he disqualified? Because he's on TV. He's been on TV because he did an attack which was on TV. And actually the call apparently came from Switzerland, from the UCI to the commissaires, say you have to disqualify this guy. Why is he even allowed to start? Or what? He's done multiple stage races already. Why has this not been addressed yet? If the rules are so clear, then, if they disqualified him now, it's because they know that they are sure they have a case if they test his position to the rules. So why are we in the last race of the season? He's been riding like this the whole year,
Yeah.
But anyways, I think on the other hand, we're talking so much about safety. This is not safe. This is not safe for him, and it's not safe for other riders, because there is no way with a position like that you are stable on your bike, and especially on those kind of technical courses like the Tour of the Netherlands with narrow roads, lots of corners. It's ridiculous. So green card for the UCI for disqualifying Jan Willem van Schip with this ridiculous position. That's my opinion.
And also it's not, you have these are serious races. This is not a race around the houses. Tim Merlier, one of the best sprinters in the sport. You don't want these people subject to danger like that. But also, I am a fan of banning these just from an aesthetics case. Like if we don't protect the aesthetics of the sport, we just become triathlon, and that can't happen, Johan. We have to protect it somehow.
No, this position, if he rides by himself, let him do it. Let him do it. It's his seat post may break, his handlebars, his stem may break, but he's not putting anybody in danger. But if you ride in a peloton like this, I don't think it's acceptable. It's just too much. And he's known for this. I don't know if he's like an engineer or a scientist, or he's definitely a strange character who has, he's been doing this for a number of years already. If we would go back and look for several different positions or inventions or modifications of equipment, it comes almost always from Jan Willem van Schip.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick ad break, and then I have a few questions for you about Pogačar's 2026 schedule, and then I know you just are dying to talk about Gravel World Championship, so we'll let you get to that as well, but we'll be right back with that. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Gusto. What is Gusto, you might ask? Well, it's an online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It's all-in-one, remote, friendly, and incredibly easy to use, so you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. When I started my Beyond the Peloton newsletter, I wanted to break down professional cycling in minute detail, not calculate tax withholdings. So as the business grew, I quickly realized I needed help so I could get back to focusing on the nitty-gritty of pro cycling. That's where Gusto has been a lifesaver. It offers automatic payroll tax filing, simple direct deposits, health benefits, commuter benefits, workers' comp, 401k, you name it. Gusto makes it simple and has options for nearly every budget. It has unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, no hidden fees, no surprises. It's quick and simple to sign up to Gusto. Just transfer your existing data to get it up and running fast, and don't pay a cent until you run your first payroll. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/themove and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months free of payroll at gusto.com/themove. One more time, gusto.com/themove. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Which is why I recently said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You can ditch your overpriced wireless service and their jaw-dropping monthly bills with unexpected charges, overages, and hidden fees, and join Mint today with plans that start at just $15 a month. And all plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And you can use your own phone with any Mint mobile plan and bring your number with you, along with your existing contacts. This is why I recently switched to Mint and immediately got high-speed coverage all over the world, which meant I had perfect coverage all summer when I was bouncing around between doing the tour show in Aspen and visiting family in Europe. And a little secret here, my wife's family has a high-priced plan through a major carrier, and they were left almost in tears in a park in Chamonix because their service was not working. And I was the hero because I had Mint Mobile and it was working. So don't fall victim to subpar high price plans. Make the switch at mintmobile.com/themove. That's mintmobile.com/themove. Upfront payment of $45 required. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigs on the unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. All right, Johan. I was confused when I saw this news, and I don't know how legitimate it is, but why are we even talking about Tadej Pogačar's 2026 schedule? Why would this even be out? But I saw an article, I did not verify it, that he might be skipping Roubaix next year to focus on the Giro d'Italia. Like you talking about Isaac Del Toro reminded me of this because the obvious move would be Del Toro targets the Giro, and Tadej goes Tour Vuelta because he's not won the Vuelta before. Mm-hmm. Why would he go back to the Vuelta? And I thought the whole plan was to start winning. So yeah, go to the Giro. I thought the whole plan was to win races that he hadn't won, and the Roubaix would be the major one of those.
Yeah,
why would this happen?
I haven't seen anything about him doing the Giro. I have seen rumors that Jonas might be thinking about doing the Giro. Which I think it would be a smart move for him too. As long as Tadej is not there, he'd probably win the Giro, so he would have won all three. But no, I haven't seen anything about him doing the Giro. Skipping Roubaix, it's not confirmed, but I did see quotes from the team management. I think Mauro Gianetti, who said that they actually would like him not to do Paris-Roubaix next year. Now, whether that's going to be the case, I mean, they may ask him to not do it, but if he still wants to do it, he'll still do it. Yeah. I think they told him also this year, well, you shouldn't do it, but he said, yeah, I want to do it anyways.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, but honestly, I think it's too early. I think all of the teams are also waiting now for the Grand Tours to announce the courses. the Giro's announcing bit by bit the Tour in a few weeks, or is it next week already? Next week, no?
It's next like week, Thursday.
Yeah, next week. So, I think everybody's going to wait and see what the course, most of the teams are the favorites. They already know. I mean, like today, I can guarantee you today, Pogačar has already the Tour de France course in his possession. But the big announcement is next week, right?
Yeah, I would also imagine he would do it no matter what the course is.
Doesn't really matter. No?
Sitting around. Who used to? It still bothers me. I need to let it go. Tom Dumoulin would always skip the Tour because the course wasn't good. Mm-hmm. My man, the Tour's ridden the same way no matter what the course is. Yeah. Show up to the show. You're a good rider. Show up to the best race of the year.
But he finished second one year.
Yeah, but he finished second because he did the Giro before it, Johan. He tried to hedge it, and he got second at the Giro, second at the Tour.
Yeah.
And then if he just would have focused on the Tour, he probably would have won that Tour. I'm still not over it.
What was he thinking? That Geraint Thomas won.
Yeah, Geraint Thomas was pretty good, so maybe he wouldn't have beat him. But actually, it was one of the best seasons no one ever talks about. He got second at the Giro, second at the Tour, fourth at Worlds. Mm-hmm. Like nothing to show for it, but that's a really impressive.
Was that in Innsbruck? That he
in Innsbruck,
yeah.
But people probably overrate courses in general. Grand Tours are ridden in a pretty static way, but I just wonder if this is like almost mind games too. Like, well, now they have Jonas. Oh, is he going to go is Tadej going to the Giro? Maybe not. But I think you're right. Like, if you're Jonas, you've got to just do the races that Pogačar is not doing because you can't bank on beating him at the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Also, does he beat Del Toro at the Giro? That's a question.
What's that?
Does Jonas beat Isaac Del Toro at the Giro d'Italia next year?
I don't
know if that's a lock.
In the big mountains, man, he's pretty strong, Jonas.
He's strong, but Del Toro, it all depends on how much he improves, but he's improving so fast. It is kind of freaky how good he's getting.
No, listen, if this progression keeps going from next year on, he's becoming a big problem for a lot of riders in the Grand Tours. Yeah.
Because that's the big weakness right now. It's these big mountain days, but still,
he's pretty hard. He's pretty good in the big mountains, man. I mean, he did a really good, performance although he lost the Giro there, but he did a good performance on that climb.
On the Finestre. I was just going to say that you'll only remember it because he lost the Giro there, but he did it with Carapaz, who's known as a high altitude climber. So at 21 years old, that's not a bad result. Moving on to UCI World Gravel Championships. This is very, very strange because it was the same day as Paris Tours, which used to be a bigger race.
And it's now also a gravel race.
It's now it's a gravel race, Spencer. It has Plug streets in it. I think it's for the best because what we just talked about, these sprinters are so good. If you don't throw in things like that, everything will just be a sprint.
I think Paris Tours, man. Paris Tours was the classic of the sprinters back in the days. Now, lots of riders, they lost the race because of flat tires. These gravel, I don't think they call it. Do they call it Plug streets? No, they don't call it Plug streets. Plug streets is Vergent-Wevelgem. I don't know how they call it.
These are just bullshit sections of gravel. I like it. I thought the race was dying because they redid the middle of Tours, like the town. Mm-hmm. And I thought the race was dying when they ripped out that famous finish to put the tram in. I thought it was kind of on its last legs, and I think they've revitalized it.
Yeah, it's spectacular. It's spectacular. Anyways, listen, third time Matteo Trentin in his old day to come back at the end and win in the sprint. That was a nice victory, man. That was pure experience, pure professional, pure patience. And coming out at the last moment, he was third time he wins that race. That's easier said than done.
Well, you want to feel old. He first won it in 2015. It's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember that finish. And this new course has been happening since 2027. I thought it was a new thing, but it's actually been going on a long time that they've had gravel.
Since
2017, not 2027.
2017, yeah.
That would be tough. What did you think of these weird tactics at the end? I thought this was the best race of the weekend. I thought it outshined the Gravel World Championships as a gravel race.
Yeah.
But the finish was very weird, where Decathlon had a rider away with another rider.
Sitting on.
It's Paul LaPera. They sit up, they let the group catch on, but the moment the group catches on, it was always going to be Trentin or Laporte, right?
But normally you would have thought, because Bissiger was in that little group behind, wasn't taking any pulls normally because he had a teammate in front. I would have expected that he would, have done a massive attack just before they caught him. They caught him, and I think he was dead. They couldn't do it anymore, and then let out Paul LaPera. But listen, it has happened before, in Paris Tour, that once they come on that last boulevard, they start to look at each other and they get caught. These two French young riders. Apparently, that guy from Groupama, I forgot his name now, but he's pretty fast. So he was
Thibaut Groul.
Yeah, so he is pretty fast in bunch sprints. So LaPera is also fast, but was not confident at all. And they lost it. They lost it, and So who was it? So Trentin and Laporte, and who was third?
And then Albert Witten Philipsen.
Oh yeah, wow! I mean,
19 years old.
That guy. He was also third in another race. I forget which one now in Italy, a hard race, which was, I think, won by Pogačar actually.
He got second at Tre Valais.
Yeah, no, third.
Second. Pogačar wins solo, and then Albert Witten Philipsen won that bunch sprint.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah,
not bad. Pretty good rider, decent rider. He'll
you have to, Spencer, for certain listeners, you have to mention that it's sarcasm when you say that.
Yes,
he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Decent rider.
He's got a solid career. He might podium at UCI World Gravel Championship Sunday. I thought.
Speaking of the Gravel Championship, Spencer. Okay. It's the World Championships, and for that reason, it's ridden by national teams, right? It was in the Netherlands, and what's his name? Florian Vermeers won the professional race, strongest rider in the race, I think. After
second career win, I believe, right?
I don't know, but he was already 2 times second, in one time behind Mohoric, I think, one time behind Van der Poel, and now this year he wins it. Not because he was in the Belgian selection, just because he was the strongest rider. But man, the women's race, that was something. We have the majority of the riders in front are actually road professionals. And here it was actually Marianne Vos, Lorena Wiebes, Shirin van Anrooy, Yara Kastelein, I think. Yara Kastelein. So all, there was this Italian lady also, and then there was this Czech lady who forgot she had a Czech jersey, and because she was racing to help Lorena Wiebes because they're teammates on SD Works.
Yeah. Well, yeah. As an American, I can speak with an expert perspective on this, because gravel is an American sport. The whole point of gravel is you have no teammates.
It's an individual sport.
It's an individual sport. Yes. So the Dutch chased down a Dutch rider and win the sprint with Lorena Wiebes.
There was one thing that I couldn't really understand. It was Yara Kastelein, who was not a fast sprinter, who chased down another Dutch lady, Shirin van Anrooy, who was probably going to win. when Marianne Vos and Lorena Wiebes are there. That didn't make much sense to me. But there's been criticism to, for example, this Czech rider. Her name is Kopecky also. It's not Lotte Kopecky. She's actually from Czech Republic. But races, 364 days out of the year for SD Works, teammate of Lorena Wiebes. So she was there by herself. And she did the majority of the work to catch the Dutch rider Shirin van Anrooy, who was escaped. So, it was not. Of course, there's going to be commercial interests. You cannot avoid this. It's not because that one day all of a sudden you're racing in the. There's definitely instructions from the team also that if you're ahead and Lorena Wiebes there, SD Works, we want to win this. Specialized, we want to win this. This is huge for a bike brand.
It's a big deal for the bike brands. Yeah. Yes.
So, but I was really, really, really surprised to see 2 days later. First of all, how can you expect that the Dutch team, for example, I don't know what the rules are exactly, but there was a lot of Dutch riders. I think it was 20 riders. 25 riders. So,
and there was like 80 finishers.
Yeah. So first of all, Spencer, the difference with gravel is, and this World Championships gravel, because this is yet another discipline that the UCI has appropriated. There's this new discipline that starts, gravel racing. UCI sees it's going to be successful. Okay, we're going to rule this. You could say, well, why does it need to be UCI? The two most iconic races in gravel. I think it's what is it? Unbound. It's Unbound.
Unbound. Yeah, would be one.
Unbound, and then you have in Spain you have La Traca. La Traca. They're not UCI races. They are not.
And the
UCI
whole point
races.
of them is that they are not UCI races.
Exactly.
They exist outside of.
Yeah. So
pro
the
cycling.
two biggest races of gravel are not UCI races, but yet there's a UCI World Championships where the UCI has to say, okay, this is with national federations, but there's no select. The national federations don't make a selection. All these riders have to earn their selection by either qualifying for events or by having a certain amount of points as an elite rider, and then you get an automatic start entry, right? And then I saw, and I know, for example, I know that there's been communication within the Dutch team that, okay, this is an individual race. There's no team tactics. Everybody for themselves. I think that's fine, because if the riders have to fight for their selection, it's not the federation who selects and then gives instructions on team tactics. But I was really surprised to see the UCI through I think he's number 3 in the UCI. It's a Belgian guy called Peter van den Abelen. He's the sports director of the UCI. I didn't know that the UCI needed a sports director, but anyway, that's his title. He's the sports director, whatever that means. He gave an interview, slamming the Dutch Federation and the Dutch national coach, Laurens ten Dam, who is now the coach of the Dutch women's championships and for the World Championships and European Championships, saying, this is impossible. This is, how can you do this? And I was thinking, is the UCI now also going to dictate the tactics of which tactics teams have to use in their race? It's like, Van den Abelen, he should. Anyways,
they start to get into like WWE territory. It's like, well, that's not what we planned.
Yeah,
we didn't want that to happen. Why do the riders not listen to us?
That's a bunch of bullshit, Peter van den Abelen. Sorry, you're Belgian, but I'm not your fan.
I thought too. I thought the women's race was interesting, obviously, because we're talking about it a week later. The men's race, they just break up too early. I'm not even convinced gravel's a good spectator sport. I thought Paris Tour is that's like an actually good prototype for a professional gravel race. But these things break up too early. I was also wrong. Florian Vermeersch, it's his first world title. Gianni Vermeersch won a gravel world title, not Florian Vermeersch.
Yeah.
It is big, got to be big for Colnago. I didn't know Colnago had a gravel bike.
I didn't know until I saw the World Championships.
Yeah. And I thought it looked pretty good. And now I'm more likely to buy it. So that shows you why they do it.
That picture of Florian Vermeers crossing the finish line, holding up that bike, that's gold for a bike brand. Yeah. Because gravel bikes nowadays are, after e-bikes, probably the most sold type of bike.
Yep. I mean, I have a gravel and a road bike. If I was just going to recommend a bike someone buy, I would just say get the Ventum GS1 if you just want one bike, because you can do everything with it. Gravel bikes are great. Before we get to question time, we should mention Derek. We talked about Derek G last week. Apparently, his case has been moved to the UCI's arbitration board. I didn't know that existed. Had never heard of it.
Me neither.
What is this?
I don't know. I mean, normally, if you talk about arbitration, you talk about the Court of Arbitration for Sports, which is, the
CAS,
whatever. Yeah. I know. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but it's a bullshit court. But anyways, that's the official court for disputes. So yeah, I saw UCI arbitration board. I don't know if that's new or if they just came up with it now. I had never heard of it before, but apparently the UCI is now also the judge in certain disputes.
And I wonder, the only thing I could think of, Johan, remember this was after Udo Brooks left Visma, Red Bull, left Red Bull to go to Visma. They put these new rules into effect where it is actually codified how you're supposed to talk to riders and how you can break a contract. And maybe with those rules, they have like an arbitration board to see if he broke his contract correctly, because you're not supposed to do it without informing your team. Mm-hmm. And your team's supposed to have like full awareness of it. I'm sure they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Quite understand.
I don't think we have the full details. As I said last week, Spencer, when Derek G and his legal advisors have announced to the team that they were, breaking the contract, I think they had their homework done. That, now we will see. Personally, I think, and we get back into the same debate, it's like, what's going to complicate things here is the sporting rules, because the sporting rules, they're always, they're not clear. They're not, most of the time, they're not legal. If this goes to a normal court, which is a court of law of labor law, it's going to be pretty simple and short. The thing is that this takes time, but I think the ruling would be pretty clear. If somebody has just cause to break a contract, then it's just a matter of what's the compensation. It's definitely not going to be the 30 million that Sylvan Adams is asking for. It needs to be in proportion. What did Little Trek pay? Sorry?
What did Little Trek pay UAE? I heard it was 10 million.
It's a lot. I mean, it's too much, but it's still, it's a tenth of what the contract said. The breaking clause was apparently 100 million, which was ridiculous.
Well, I heard they ended up paying, it was the 3 years left times the amount he got paid per year, which is what you said they would have to end up paying, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
still, yeah, it's
that ends up.
I think it's we've seen now 2 transfers of riders with big salaries, right? Which is Remco and Ayuso, which leave their teams before the end of their contract. And if the amounts that I've been hearing are correct, that these new teams have been paying, it's a big risk. It's a huge investment.
What did you hear Red Bull paid for Remco?
I think I heard something like 7 million.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
He only had 1 year left on the contract.
Yeah, plus what they're going to have to pay him.
Yeah,
it's
too much. It's too
much.
Do they
need it though? Makes no sense. Is it worth it to Red Bull just for the one-day results? I didn't realize how bad they'd been in one-day racing.
Well,
they have no one-day results.
Remco's he's definitely one of the top 4 or 5 guys in cycling. There's not that many. Plus, there's not that many available. So if one becomes available before the end of the contract, it's worth considering. But it's a huge investment. I mean, if if 7 million plus on top the salary, which is at least going to be 4 million, if not more.
Yeah.
That's 11 million in year one. In year one. And then it becomes 4 million or whatever it is in year 2 and year 3.
I heard a theory too, and I've not like cross-referenced this, but it's an interesting theory. So Red Bull's F1 team used to lose money. So that was a way for them to harvest like tax losses, basically. They put a cost cap into F1. So now the team makes money, like makes a lot of money, so that they would be incentivized to lose as much money as possible on the cycling team so they could then harvest tax losses that way as a marketing expense.
I don't know, but it could be. It's if those amounts
tax
are
credits,
true,
basically.
If those amounts are true, personally, I think it's too much. It's exaggerated. It's not.
I don't really get the.
I mean, it's like listen. If it's true that they paid 7 million buyout clause for Remco with only 1 year on the contract left, I can absolutely understand that the new manager of Soudal said, "Hey, Christmas came early.
Yeah.
You know, this is amazing."
And you don't have to spend the money you're going to spend on his contract.
That's an 11 million net operation, Spencer.
Yeah, in 1 year for a team like that, it's huge.
50% of the budget.
Yeah, that's a title sponsor they got for 2026.
Yeah,
a brand new title sponsor. The ISO thing is wild to me. That's a lot of money for one ISO, and he's in Miami. He's in Miami wearing a Tyreek Hill jersey. I don't know if I like that.
Well, listen. I mean, that's listen. He's entitled to his time off, right? So, listen, the guy's a pro. He's whenever he has to start training and racing again, he'll be ready. Now the question is it really worth that investment?
I hate to follow this up with, will he be ready? Didn't we just see him not be ready at the Vuelta?
Yeah, it's different.
Someone pointed out to me in my DMs, Matthew Riccatello got called up to that thing like 2 days before the start of the race and finished 5th overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
it was a good course for him too.
Yeah. But the thing I was wondering about in terms of Ayuso, and that's awesome. Go on vacation. I don't want a vacation shame. But is it kind of funny to you that Del Toro's still racing? Like, does he just love racing? Same thing with Pogačar. They don't seem to fatigue on racing.
Ayuso checked out already. As soon as the negotiation started for his contract, he checked out. I mean, it was clear he came to the Vuelta. He was unprepared. Listen, I mean, if you look at it now, afterwards, it's a miracle he won 2 stages because the guy was not ready.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of won them. When you have a guy that talented going up against stage hunters at the Vuelta,
winning is difficult everywhere, especially at that level. I mean, even a top talent, if you're not in shape, you don't win, man. I mean,
but we got to weight this on. We got to think it was a 10 million buyout clause for this guy, and he did check. You just said he checked out. So is that the type of rider you want to put that much money into? Someone that would Lance Armstrong check out? I don't think so, right? If he's the leader on little track, he's going to be happy. It looks like he's been promised he's going to be the leader, because if I hear the comments of Matthias Kjellmose, who was kind of, he was not too happy. Not too happy. I think he said, well, the team has been promising me for years that they would build around me for GC, and now Ayuso comes. If he has problems riding at the service of Pogačar, I have a hard time imagining he will ride at my service at some point. So, he's not wrong. But also, on the other hand, I think that a team like Little Trek, they can do with multiple leaders for stage races. It's not like, Kjellmose is definitely a great rider. One of the only riders who beat Pogačar, by the way, this year. Well, the 3 riders that beat Pogačar were Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert,
and Kjellmose. Wow, yeah. But in terms of Grand Tours, I think right now Kjellmose is not in a position yet where he could demand from his team that the whole GC system is built only around him. I think he needs to make a few steps. He's been already top 5 he was 5th in the Vuelta. I think he was white jersey. Other than that, he's won a few stage races.
Didn't he win the Tour of Switzerland?
Yeah. He's won a few stage races, but in terms of Grand Tours, his best result is 5th in the Vuelta. I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Is the real friction with is Skelmoza, I think, is that like a mirage? Is the real friction with Milan and Pedersen? Because that's a lot of mouths to feed.
No, they're different riders. I think Milan, Pedersen and Skelmoza get along really well. I've seen.
But if Ayuso rolls up to the Tour and you have Mateusz Skelmoza and Mads Pedersen demanding resources, is Juan Ayuso like, wait a second, I thought I was the leader here?
Yeah, listen, it's a luxury problem. It's better to have too many good riders than that. It's also a really good sign for Little Trek. The work they've been doing in the last few years, that really big riders actually want to go there. There's been a time that riders didn't want to go there, because they were a lot better options. Now they're one of the top 3-4 super teams, right? So yeah, I think, listen, and maybe we have to change our opinion. Maybe we have the wrong impression. I don't think so, but maybe we have the wrong impression of Ayuso, and he's actually able to work for teammates too. Maybe I'm being very optimistic. But
I would say if you're not working for Pogačar, I don't know if anything's gonna. Jonathan Milan will just scare him so much he will have to work. But Skelmoza, you reminded me of this. He gets 4th at World Championships, and then he has a herniated disc in his back
in Lombardy.
Yeah, and the team sends him to Tour of Guangxi. Why would they do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I read that too. I don't understand. I don't know. I was surprised too. There must be. I don't know if there's some friction there between Skelmoza and the team. He's been verbal about Ayuso coming to the team, which is one thing. And now he's been vocal also about him being in China and not understanding why he was there. I think
I would not. That's not exactly what I would want to do at the end of my season.
Well, no, nobody wants to go there. It's like a punishment race. So I don't understand. I don't know if Trek doesn't need points at this moment in time. If Skelmoza has this problem, I said a 30-hour travel is not really the best thing to do if you have a herniated disc.
No.
He definitely should not have been there. By the way, he abandoned today, right? Or yesterday, he abandoned.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is it because the relationship between Skelmoza and Little Trek is a bit deteriorated? I don't know. Maybe Skelmoza is looking for an out also and moving teams. There's obviously going to be candidate to sign Skelmoza. I don't know, man. There's different scenarios possible. Who knows?
I would say things are probably bad if he's getting sent to that race with that problem.
That makes no sense. That absolutely makes no sense, because Trek is absolutely in a position that they can allow themselves to not send one of their best riders, if not their best GC rider right now, to that race. Who cares what they're going to do there? Okay. China. I know, for example, I know from back in the days already when we were with Trek, Asia was super important. Huge. We were actually asked by Trek to sign some Asian riders. That's why I signed the Japanese rider and why I signed the Chinese rider back in the days.
Yeah,
that was at the request of Trek. So Trek might be, they may have been pushing to have Skelmoza there because their market is huge in Asia. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, that's it. That's an interesting one. And then just the last bit to tie up here on the promotion. You mentioned points, promotion relegation standings. It looks like Uno X is safe. They're going to make the World Tour.
Yeah.
The real fight now is between Total Energies and Cofidis for the last spot of the second division teams to get automatic invites to all the races, Grand Tours and one days in 2026. That's a 1-year thing. You have to earn your spot every year. It looks like Total Energies is behind by about 70 points. I'm just looking at it, trying to do math in my head. They'll probably miss it. Cofidis will get the auto invite. What is the danger, Johan, of being down in the spot Total Energies is? Because you'd imagine they'll get a wild card invite to the Tour de France, and the other team would probably be Tetema Rockets, unless the Tour went way out of left field and invited like Cahu Rawl or Pulte Visit Malta. Probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What's the danger of falling out of that and being at the mercy of the wild cards? Because currently there's not. I guess I'm going to answer my own question here. Like the Vuelta rolls around, Total is probably not going, right? Even though they sponsor the race, because there's 3 wild card Spanish teams. I can't imagine they're going to take Total Energies instead of 2 of those teams.
The Vuelta is a difficult one, Spencer, because it's owned by ASO. So French. On the other hand, I personally think that decisions have been made on a higher level. We all know that Total Energies has now become a big co-sponsor of Ineos. Next year, in my opinion, they're going to be in the name. It's not allowed yet now because they already sponsor or title sponsor another team. But I think 2026 is just a fade out year for that team, Total Energies. They're done. They're stopping sponsorship.
If you're sponsoring another team, it's never a good sign. For the other team.
They just want to make good on their commitment for 2026, Total Energies, but they don't really care because they're in every big race anyway. With their association to Ineos.
So let's imagine they're gone, like you're saying. Stuff starts to get really interesting because what are the wild card teams then? If there's no Total Energies, like, is it wide open for someone to launch a team and get a wild card invite to the Tour? Because remember, you have to be in the top 30 teams.
You need to be in the top 30 first. So, it's not that's not in one season. You have to. It's going to take 2 years or 3 years at least.
Because here would be this would be the options if Total wasn't around next year. It'd be VF Group, Bardiani, Equipo Kern Burgos BH, Team Pulte Visit Malta, Unibet Tetema Rockets, Cahu Rawl, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be your wild card spots for the Tour. 2 of those are getting into the Tour de France.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably going to be Tetema. Because they're a French team.
Yep. Pretty smart.
And they're pretty good. I mean, they're they come from very, very small, and in 3 years' time, 3 years' time, or actually 2 years only, I think. Pretty impressive. Speaking of another piece of news, actually, speaking of Ineos, I don't know if you saw that, but they did confirm the renewing of the sponsorship with Pinarello for another 3 years.
Interesting.
So Pinarello most likely is going to sponsor 2 teams next year, Ineos and Q36.5.
Interesting.
I don't know where.
Why would they do that?
What's that?
Why would they do that? Like, what's in it for Pinarello?
I mean, the owner or one of the majority stakeholders in Pinarello owns Q36.5 already, so that makes sense. And I guess it's the history with Ineos, and still, I think as a bike brand, it is important to be linked with a super team, with a big team. Although you could say, well, maybe Q36.5 and Ineos, they're more or less at the same level now, performance-wise at least.
Well, yeah, which team finished on the podium of a Grand Tour this year?
Okay,
one of those teams.
Yeah. No, but we've seen. I mean, it happens. That bike brands sponsor multiple teams. Specialized, for example, had multiple teams also. Yeah.
Well, let's get to this super important question. This is from Patrick. Again, info@wedo.team. I'm only reading this because this has been bothering me for nearly 2 decades. So Patrick says, I realized years ago by looking at photos from Contador and Lance in 2009 when they both raced for Astana that Lance had a slightly different design jersey in that year than anybody else in the team. And I don't mean the additional World Championship stripes in the sleeves. If you look closely at the upper sleeve shoulder design of his jersey, you'll notice the design pattern was different on his jersey from the other team members. Can Johan explain this? To illustrate, I sent a nice picture of Johan, Alberto, and Lance. Can we see the picture?
Let me see the picture.
And Johan looks dashing in this picture. We've got to get this
Where's
picture
the picture?
up. Look at that.
Oh, there it is. Huh.
And you'll actually notice Lance's sleeve is quite a bit different. And I always wondered about
but
this.
But that's okay. Let me think. That's actually at the start of the Tour de France. We did have different models, jerseys. I know that there was different fabrics with a different model. But if I'm not mistaken, in that tour, which I actually had an argument with Alberto Contador about that. I don't know if this jersey is the case, but I do know that as soon as Contador took yellow, he had his own jerseys made.
I remember this.
So the brand of the jerseys was Bontrager. Bontrager was the clothing sponsor, but they had them made at Giordano. And Contador, at some point, I saw him he was in the bus, he had taken yellow, and he had a different fabric jersey than the team jersey, or than the jersey that was provided by the Tour, and yet the yellow jersey. And he had stuff made by Nalini without informing me. So it's the first time I've seen this picture. I have not noticed this, but you're right. I don't know. I do know that this jersey of Lance is definitely an official jersey, because I see it because of the placement of the logos on the shoulders. And if you look on this jersey, I think it's a different fabric. One may be a normal jersey, another might be a super summer jersey. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to say that probably both are team jerseys. Just a different paneling because of a different fabric. That would be my first guess. But I do know that as soon as Contador took yellow, he had his own jerseys made, behind my back.
That tells you everything you need to know about that situation. That's pretty wild to have your own jerseys made. But look how loose those jerseys are, Johan.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, that is slowing you down quite a bit. This is... I'm hesitant to even admit this, but my first ever bike race that I did, I bought an Astana full kit, and I did it in an Astana kit.
You raced in an Astana kit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like top and bottom. It was like $35 total. It was one of these Chinese websites, and they're so bad. But there is probably a photo out there circulating of me racing in an Astana kit.
We'll find that jersey and we're publishing that in the next podcast, Spencer.
And I thought that, I didn't realize that. I was like, oh man, like Astana, that's the cool team now. I didn't know.
So that must have been 2008 or 2009 or something.
I think it was, probably early 2009. Very early. Like, wow, that took me back. And then I thought that was a really interesting question, because that's always bothered me that they had the different jerseys. And so here's a question from Larry.
Well, there's another story, Spencer. I don't know if you know that story. There's been very special jerseys one time in the Giro of 2009. Do you know that story? So
wait, Giro, there was a lot of weird stuff with
Giro 2009. Jerseys? We had issues with Astana paying the paying agent, which was a company that I was managing. And so I couldn't pay the salaries to riders and staff because Astana didn't pay the way it was signed in the contract. And so to put pressure on Astana, there was one company which had paid, a little small company, and then Trek had paid because they were a sponsor. So we made jerseys for the Giro. So we gave the order to Giordana to make jerseys, exactly the same jerseys, but the logos of the sponsors who hadn't paid, which were a bunch of Kazakh sponsors. I don't even know why they were on there. It was, back in the days, it was basically the minister of sports who made a phone call to 10 companies in Kazakhstan. He says, okay, I need this amount of money. You're volunteering to sponsor my team. Boom, done. So, and so these companies hadn't paid. So we made a jersey, and from close by, you could see like a logo, like a half transparent logo on the jersey, but on pictures and on TV, you could not see the logo.
Yeah, I remember
so
that.
We didn't break the rules because the logos were on the jersey, but they were just not extremely visible. And it helped because 2 weeks later they paid all the salaries. That was a rough time, man, let me tell you.
And that was when like Vino was coming back, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure. I want to watch that documentary. Moonlight Graham asked a very easy question. Great name, by the way. Do you two watch cyclocross? I enjoy it as it comes on early in US time. So nice weekend viewing with morning coffee. I actually do watch quite a bit of cyclocross. Same reason, because it's on in the morning in the US, and my son, 5 years old, is obsessed with cyclocross. So we're watching all the races that are on.
Yeah. I watch cyclocross. I mean, I haven't watched it yet this year.
This is a little early to be dipping into the cross.
There's been some crosses, but obviously, I think everybody's going to watch when Van der Poel or Van Aert shows up. I don't know if they're going to. I think for sure they will be doing a few, although I suspect it to be less and less. But I watch cyclocross, but then it's when there's no more other races, then I start watching cyclocross.
It's hard in Europe, and I'm in Europe, and there's a non-target race on. It's in the middle of the day when you're doing things versus in the US. It's easier when it's in the morning. And then Larry, this is right on the topic we're talking about. He said, was when choosing a member of a team for a Grand Tour, how do you balance a rider's numbers, like power numbers, with how well their personality benefits and affects the team's chemistry?
Mm-hmm. Well, when I was at the SN team manager, we didn't have those data yet, the power numbers. It was private. We kind of had an idea, but it was not common that you would say, hey, send me your power files. That was just not the case back then. But personality was very important for me, very important. I made a few mistakes with certain people, especially with Americans. But there's this documentary, right, where I say something like, another young American weirdo or something like that.
I think it was like it's your first thing you say in the documentary. It's a very good documentary called Lance, I think, it's on Netflix. And your introduction, you're like, there's no weirder people than American professional cyclists or something like that.
There's been a lot of American professional cyclists who are really weirdos, like extremely weird. But back in the days, we had that policy that we at least every year we made the commitment to USA Cycling that we would take 2 young American cyclists from that program. So there's been a few, strange ones, but no. But personality is super important, especially like back in the days when we were on a roll. And building a team focused on the Tour de France. Whoever was considered to be on the long list of the tour needed to fit into the philosophy of the team. Like, okay, this is our focus. This is, the way the team works. And, we have one leader. And there's been a few who came into that long list, and then they did the tour once or twice, and then they left because they had personal ambitions, and They went on to be leaders or co-leaders of other teams. But that's logical, I think. But I would say personality is back then, at least, because we had a more reduced program. Like now you can say, okay, this personality doesn't fit with this guy. We have enough races, enough riders. We can basically give them programs that they see each other once in the year in a training camp, and then they don't see each other anymore for the rest of the year because they're just racing all over the world and they never race together. Back then, that was more difficult because we didn't have such a big roster.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you should probably try to get along with your coworkers would be no matter how good you think you are. Just try to mesh with everybody would be my advice. All right, Johan, we'll let you go. We'll be back next week for same time, same place, similar format. Maybe we'll have a little bit more clarity on a few of the things that we talked about today, but thanks for joining us.
Okay. Thanks, Spencer. Speak soon.
All right. Bye.